Good morning, and welcome back to the Endgame. I have to say that I was about to start the livestream, but then an extremely obnoxious car alarm started to go off just behind me. In addition to car alarms, I am enjoying the sounds of very high winds. We've been getting a lot of wind here over the last 24 hours. I don't expect that you'll be able to hear it yourself, but for me it makes for a bit of dramatic background noise. But yeah, back in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, of course. And I never know what is in store. It is entirely up to the community as to what we are going to be hunting. We've got big crab boiling. That's not very friendly. I suppose I'll have to bring a fire weapon or something. Someone will have to bring a water weapon, and I'll bring a fire weapon to heat the water up. I need to go and get the chat up so that I can actually read the contributions from those of you watching live. Of course, you can watch my stuff live for those watching VODs, just in case you didn't know. The Twitch channel is the same name as the YouTube name. So, try to tune in if you can. It's usually evenings for people in the US. Mid to late evenings. And then if you're outside of the US, well, for instance in Europe, it's probably going to be a bit too late for you. Same as if you're in the UK, it tends to be like, I don't know, 1 AM, 2 AM, something along those lines. Okay. Someone's saying cold/hot in the chat. What do you mean by that? Why can't you make your own determination on that? Ingle Isle. Well, when has the Ingle Isle ever required a hot drink? That's the question. I suppose if you're too lazy to check, then you can ask that question, but I actually haven't encountered that recently at all. I'm sure I've seen it before, where a person asks the group if they need to bring a cool drink or a hot drink, but not in recent memory. That's a little unusual. Okay, so there are a number of monsters involved. I should double check that, because I only really internalized the presence of a Glavenus and a Rust Razor. I think there's also, yes, Gravios. So definitely water is the common element in this case. I wonder what I should bring. I might actually keep with Insect Glaive. I don't know why. But because it's being thrust in my face, I already have one equipped. I'm actually feeling like I'm in the mood to use it. Eventide Kazanagi. Of course, the Mizutsune weapons are some of the most attractive ones in the game. In my opinion, anyway. I really like the finish on the blade. It's very shiny and it has a sort of luster to it. I really like it. Oh, got a voucher. What's your name? Spelunky, I see. I guess he explores cave systems. Which I believe is actually called Spelunker. And I think, wasn't the game called Spelunky or something like that? I think so. There was a game called Spelunky. But anyway, I digress. On the subject of this game, I think we are ready to go. I don't have much more to do in preparation for the quest. So this will be the Ingle Isle. This is a sort of arena location, obviously. This is where you fight a Cantor, a Latrion, Raging Brachydios, etc. And I believe it's one at a time, but it should be on a timer. So we start off with Gravios. And then I think after about 2 to 3 minutes, we will have to then, in addition to Gravios, contend with Glavenus. So the idea, of course, is to kill Gravios as quickly as possible. There will be no timer for Rust Razor. He will not appear until both monsters have been killed. Considering how quick we have to be with killing this Gravios, I have to say everyone was looking really hesitant in entering the area. Alright. Get my colours together. By completely missing the monster, that was good. He's a bit too big. I usually approach it in a very lazy way. I.e., just not even aiming with this. I instead just fire it. I guess hip fire it, almost, is how I would describe it. That's not really working with this very large Gravios. Pretty well done there. Entirely coincidental, of course, that I managed to pole vault over the tail swing. It's not something that I usually do when playing this game, but I will actually continue to try and get mounts off. I think that's going to be the best way for me to deal with a Gravios, for two reasons. A, I think we could benefit from some mounts in dealing maximum damage over a short period of time. And B, I'm probably going to be bouncing if I try to attack him normally. So let's just go for the mounts. I feel like I'm having a mental blank here. Do you usually get... Yeah, you do usually get the the actual mount indicator. I wasn't getting that before. Let's keep trying. It's incredible. Even with Mounting Master, just the lack of effectiveness of this is extraordinary when you're used to playing Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. You just feel completely useless. Now, I'm about to run out of colours, but I'm not that worried about it. I'm more interested in the team dealing damage while the monster's down than me. I am now out of my colours. And ended up rolling straight into his attack. Let's see if I can get away with my hip firing technique as I describe it. No, I might have to use this for the head / neck. Well, I tried. I did try. I'm in severe danger. Alright. Let's get ourselves healed up here. Hello, Wonderlord. Hello, Funny Animated Jim. And hey, AJ. That is a joke. Of sorts. Alright, I've got my red target. But I don't think that I'll be able to get it before I run out of orange. I was not able to do that. Come on. Get to the head now. It must have been 2 minutes by now, so it might be closer to 5 minutes for the time. This guy stole my mount. Not really, I'm not that precious about it. It's for the team, not for me. Oh, you're using the Toyohisa sword. I do love that greatsword. Oh, for goodness sake. That is the... I'm sorry, but that is the ultimate faux pas. You don't aim for the tail when you've been aiming for it for ages during a mount. There's sort of... there's two schools of thought. The one that he subscribed to, obviously, is that, well, I really want to cut the tail, so the mount is an opportunity for me to cut the tail, or for me to be able to aim for it. The school of thought that I subscribe to is that when you've got a mount, you should be maximizing the opportunity to hit the monster, which you have now minimized by having the tail cut completely curtail the animation. So, anyway. Disappointing, to say the least. Truly a random party, yeah. It is a random party of people. Oh, I actually don't have any opinions on Tears of the Kingdom and Echoes of Wisdom, Jim, because I haven't played either of them. There's no particular reason why I haven't. Well, I guess there is, so... Believe it or not, I'm so out of touch with Zelda at the moment that I didn't even know that Echoes of Wisdom existed until about 3 weeks ago, or 4 weeks ago. On the subject of Tears of the Kingdom, I was going to play it and then just didn't. I actually forgot about it, to be honest with you. I guess I'm just not a Zelda player anymore. I very much am, I just want to make that clear. But obviously not as keen on the new games as I am on the old games. Which is a shame, because I grew up playing new Zelda games. It's not like I've become, you know, old and grizzled and just completely uninterested in things that are new. It's just that they're not as good as they were, in my opinion. Or at least not what I like about Zelda. But Tears of the Kingdom could be very good. I do plan to replay Breath of the Wild at some point, but it feels weird to replay Breath of the Wild instead of just playing Tears of the Kingdom, so I will probably do that before replaying Breath of the Wild. I'll give you my reasoning for replaying Breath of the Wild. The first is that I have only done a single playthrough of the game, which I started when it came out. And the second point is that, so yeah, on the subject of Breath of the Wild, it's been a long time since I started that game, so I would actually do well to start it afresh and just see if I have a different experience with it. The second point is that I played it on the Wii U, because when it came out I was not prepared to actually buy a new console in order to play it, so I got the Wii U version, and it turned out that the performance of the Wii U version was very poor. So every time I go and play that game, I'm essentially languishing in an environment where, oh, for goodness sake, I suppose we did singularly fail to kill the Gravios before the Glavenus arrived. That was unfortunate. But yeah, anyway, Breath of the Wild, not really happy with the performance on the Wii U version. So I definitely want to try the Switch version, and that is going to coincide with the Switch 2. You know, by the time I play the Switch version of Breath of the Wild, I will be able to do it on the Switch 2. So in terms of performance, it's going to be smooth as can be, which will be a great way for me to re-experience the game, you know, experiencing it in a better way than when I played it the first time. On the subject of the Switch 2, by the way, kind of exciting, but not really. The reason why it's not exciting is because it feels like it has taken too long. I personally could not believe how long it took for them to get a new console for the Nintendo games. It was just... It just seemed to go on and on and on, and the hardware is just becoming more and more anachronistic as time goes on. It's just the idea that you've got a game like Tears of the Kingdom coming out, and it's still on the same damn console. Console with an N, not with an M. Doomlink. But, yeah, seriously, it's about damn time. And I personally think they should have waited until the Switch 2 came out before putting out Tears of the Kingdom, but I don't know. Who am I to say? But, yeah, the backwards compatibility of the Switch 2 is very good. It's what we would expect. It wouldn't really make sense after the Wii U was completely backwards compatible with Wii. So, yeah, I'm not going to say that it's a huge surprise, but I suppose it's a reassuring detail that it's fully backwards compatible. And I think what's most reassuring, and this is important, and maybe this is not as obvious, this is not as expected or as granted as you would hope it to be, but the fact that it's compatible with the physical Nintendo Switch games, that's important, because it does feel as if we're moving away from physical hardware when it not hardware, like physical games, actual game cartridges or game discs. It feels like we're moving away from that era of video gaming, and I don't particularly want to leave that era of video game ownership, because that's what it comes down to. The ownership of something physical is quite literally tangible, whereas the ownership of video games these days has become very, very grey and unclear, and yeah, I think that if we walk away from that, it's problematic, and I'm pleased to see that Nintendo is still willing to have physical games for their new console. Yeah, we'll see if I enjoy Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know. I really don't know. I have mixed feelings about Breath of the Wild. All I'll say about Breath of the Wild is that I concede that as a video game, on its own, in a void, pretty damn good. But it's not what I want out of a Zelda game. I have a very specific itch that I like to scratch with a Zelda game, and Breath of the Wild did not do that for me. And I was particularly sour given that it's technically the sequel of Skyward Sword, and I thought that Skyward Sword was an absolute fart in a bucket. A gimmick-laden waste of disc data. Like, that's what I considered Skyward Sword to be, but maybe that's an extremely vituperative opinion on on that game, but it's true, it's from the heart. I will choose something different for the next attempt at this quest, and I will only do one more attempt, if only to avoid a monotonous viewing experience. I'll bring a gun. Because you could see I was hovering around these, I'll bring a pierce loadout. A light pierce will do me. I just want a little bit of mobility. It's not a difficult enough quest for me to equip Adept style, so I won't be doing that. I'll just stick to Guild. Which is Bullet Geyser and Full House 2, which I never use. Just to be very clear, I never use Full House 2, so maybe I should look for a different Hunter art that I like. But yeah, just to cap off what I was saying about Skyward Sword, because I can't imagine that people who really like Skyward Sword would appreciate what I just said about it. I thought that Skyward Sword was going to be shit as soon as it was revealed at E3. I was extremely disappointed by what I saw, and for good or for ill, I didn't actually play it when it came out. I decided, no, I'm not even going to touch that game. And then, quite innocently, in 2018, I thought, look, maybe I was too harsh. Maybe that was just wrong for me to completely dismiss the game out of hand like that. And then I played it and realized, no, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be, and I hate it. All those years later. And I'm not going to say I felt vindicated, that's not the word. It's more like I was severely disappointed. Speaking of being severely disappointed, I did not actually check to see what ammunition I had. So, I don't have enough pierce. This is ridiculous. We've got 3 monsters to fight, and I did nothing in the way of organizing my ammunition because I was too busy prating on about Skyward Sword. Unhelpful. Especially for the team. I've let myself down and I've let the team down. What sort of internal ammunition have I got? I've got slicing. Internal ammunition, believe it or not. Possibly... I probably had Demon Shot. Yeah, I had Demon Affinity, which I could have given to the team, which was a bit ridiculous for me to not have done at the very start. A little known benefit when it comes to internal ammunition. Idiots like me who actually depart on quests without ammunition aren't actually forced to abandon the quests to have ammunition in the quest. I mean, obviously in some cases you've got ammunition in the box, but it's not really a thing in G rank, so there you go. I just think this team needs a little bit of Pierce action. You won't see me use Pierce gunning too much. Just because it's a bit obvious, isn't it? A bit too widely used. Yeah, of course, the controls are the overarching issue when it comes to Skyward Sword, and the fact that the entire game is built around the gimmick of Wii Motion Plus. It's enough to have me regurgitate my lunch. On any given day, I haven't eaten today, just to be clear. Don't want to confuse my audience by suggesting that I have a full stomach. I certainly do not. Should I save my slicing for something else? Maybe I should. Let's use Pierce level 1 just for this. Hopefully that'll be enough. Well, it'll certainly be enough in terms of ammunition, but in terms of damage output, that's what I'm concerned about. I think that... Do you know what? I've just made an executive decision, ladies and gentlemen. I should be maximizing my DPS right now, because this is the one fight out of all of them that needs to be done as quickly as possible. So we're going to approach it in that way. Slicing level 2 is definitely, at this stage, my most damaging ammunition. And I don't want it to be going out on the head. Alright, what am I doing? Reloading, and yeah, Bullet Geyser, just to be clear, is something that I use more as an evasive maneuver than as a damage-dealing hunter art. It works pretty well for evasion. And it's quite exciting as well. It's cinematic. You can see that in aiming for the chest, I am unfortunately hitting other parts of the monster instead. Like that stupid chin in the front. His chin just has this elongation to it. I really should just be trying harder, shouldn't I? The fact that I'm so off target is probably less to do with the monster and more to do with me. Alright. Oh yeah, and I will say that Echoes of Wisdom, absolutely fucking hate that art style. I hate it. I couldn't disparage it enough, but I will not refuse to play the game because then I would be in the same category as the people who refused to play Zelda Wind Waker when it came out, and I don't want to be that person. I can't bear to be that person. Because, you know, it really was a perennial of the 2000s among Zelda players to disparage and dismiss Wind Waker to the extreme because of how it looked, because of Toon Link. And Wind Waker was a phenomenal game. Phenomenal. One of my favorite video games of all time, and, you know, all of those people decided to not experience that game because of how it looked. So I'm not suggesting for even a moment that Echoes of Wisdom is going to be worthy of licking the boots of Wind Waker, but I will not dismiss it on the basis of how it looks on principle. That would be foolish in the context of Zelda. Oh my god. And Glavenus has entered the fold. I don't know what's happening with this team. The damage output's clearly not very good. I'm probably not contributing as well as I should be, but I'm doing my best. Oh, more tail swings. There, that's all my slicing. I can't believe you're not dead yet. I'm sorry, but if you're aiming for the Glavenus at this stage, you really need to get with the program. We must be focusing on the monster that we've been attacking from the start, otherwise you're prolonging the duration of a double confrontation, which is what caused our failure last time. So, we really need to be a little more on the ball here. Looks like Asriel has now changed targets back onto the Glavenus. Not the Glavenus, the Gravios. They've got similar names, okay. But yeah, I was concerned that Asriel was content to aim for the completely wrong monster. I think I've had opportunities to use Bullet Geyser as an evasive maneuver a few times now, but just haven't done it because I keep forgetting that it's an option. And there we go, there is Gravios dead. Not too bad. I'll continue with Pierce level 1 because I probably should save Pierce level 2 for Rust Razor. Again, I would have actually brought ammunition combination materials on the count of the fact that we are hunting 3 monsters. But I think we've established at this stage that my preparation for this quest was minimal and severely lacking. Yeah, fortunately, Gravios can't do that ground beam move as you describe it, AJ. It's a pretty scary attack. For those who are unfamiliar with the attack, he basically fires a laser, but starts from the ground, and then stands rigid, and shoots the beam upwards while aiming it, I think, to his right side. Or perhaps in whatever direction you happen to be in relation to him. And it's a really intimidating attack, and it will often hit you. I'd say it's comparable to the Devil Joe upward dragon breath. Also in the sense that it can at times be hard to see exactly where it's going to go when he fires it. But if you are the target, be prepared to move. I'm a bit out of critical distance. Oh my god. Wonderlawn says that most of the G-rank monsters in Generations Ultimate took the moves of the subspecies, with some exceptions. Notably, at this stage of the conversation, the Gravios. I think we're doing alright now. I don't believe that we've had a... Oh, excuse me. I was not paying attention to the fact that 2 people had fainted. Presumably before we had even killed the Gravios, because I don't believe that we've had a death since then. Unless I'm really unobservant. Yeah, these guys are really, I think the word is struggling. They're just not, I'm not going to say they're not cohesive, but they're definitely not skilled. We'll put it that way. A distinct absence of skill, exemplified by that performance. That's alright, we all have to start somewhere, don't we? And I suppose I did acknowledge in the, well, what would that be? I think it was part 11 of the Endgame series, that there is definitely a new cohort of people who are playing this game, like a new generation. So these people should be encouraged. And I'm making very discouraging noises at the moment, so I should keep stum. And say things like, hey, you guys are doing alright, this is G5, it's pretty hard. I haven't actually checked their hunter ranks, but I didn't see very low numbers. Oh, apparently it was the same person dying twice, and it was the person who failed the mount. So perhaps I'm ascribing... Oh my god. Perhaps I'm ascribing his poor performance to the entire team, which is unfair. So this guy, Veles. We've got someone using the full guild loadout. Definitely something that I used to strut around in Monster Hunter Tri. Quite stomach-churningly, I think I had a turquoise-coloured one. Ooh. But I actually used to have a different fashion set. It was, I think, the Giganox waist, leather jacket. I don't know what the pants were. I don't think it was the leather pants, because they were a bit too baggy, so I had different leather pants, or different pants, and probably the shades, maybe? I don't know. Whatever it was, it involved the Giganox waist, which looked really cool. Also really liked the Nahabra waist. Basically these big coattails. The begin of the waist. Alright, Pierce level 2. Have I got normal level 2? I do, so at least I'm not going to be completely useless once I'm out of Pierce. Oh, the Gunlance guy is using aerial style, apparently. See, I need to rely on you guys to be able to see what the people in the team are actually doing, because when I'm hunting, even with a gun where you're standing back from the fight, I'm really not able to observe precisely what other people are doing. But you guys can, so I do find it very helpful, actually. I don't trust you, so I'm going to keep moving. And I was right to do that. Had I reloaded where I was standing before, I would have been hit by that, so I made the right decision. Hug attack. The most misunderstood monster in the series. All he wants is a hug. He doesn't want to hurt anyone. He's just violently urinating and trying to hug people. There you go. I just love the nice touch of a rainbow after he does his big water beam. That's really cool. They didn't need to do that, but they did that. Because it's all about attention to detail. That used to be a principle that Capcom valued. This guy, I mean, he does need to learn how to mount, admittedly. But I do have reservations about the person who's least capable of mounting being the one getting the mounts off all the time. But again, I could be unnecessarily harsh in saying that. Maybe he only failed one mount, and it was a one-off, and he's actually perfectly fine. It's not like I never fail mounts. Doesn't happen often, but... Oh, we've got a change of shell. We went from Gravios to Glavenus. I feel like I have to employ more mental brain power than is necessary to make sure that when I have those two monster names on the table, you know, Glavenus and Gravios, I have to just think a little too hard about which one I want to say out of those. This Veles guy, again, I'm going based on AJ's observation of the quest in saying that this is the guy who died twice before. He's now died 3 times, so I'm not sure what happened in the previous quest. I don't know how many times he died in that one, but this is now not okay. He either needs to get his defense sorted out or be less aggressive. That really is the solution here. So, what have we got here? 771 defense. That is not acceptable. You can't be dying 3 times with 771 defense. Keeping in mind, you max out at around 850 within reason. You can get higher, you can get into the 900s in this game, but 850 is where it gets really quite high. So he's approaching ideal defense. So what he needs to be doing is healing. Azrael says, I'm done with this quest. I don't think it's the quest, my friend. I think it's the person that you're hunting with that is the problem here. Again, I don't really want to, I don't want to shame Veles, but I can't really find any sort of excuse for him. If he had shit defense, then I could say, well, he was challenging himself already by having shit defense, but he doesn't. It's perfectly reasonable defense. So, I don't know. Shagaru Magala? Sure. AJ comments that aerial dual blades can be very stamina hungry, so maybe that hurt his ability to evade the monster. I wasn't really watching him play, but I feel that if he were a little more conservative with his play and focused on healing a bit more, he probably wouldn't be dying 3 times with that defense. That's what my instincts tell me. That's alright, we've had 2 failed hunts so far. Not a great start. But we keep on trying. Shagaru Magala. How about Gunlance? Haven't used Gunlance for a little while. How about blunt gun lance? I do very much like this loadout. This loadout makes me moist. There is a noticeable moisture that accumulates between my legs when I equip this. Alright, Weakener and Slider, I like them. Now, Saul Devar, this is an interesting thing about this game. When you've got 3 people, the host usually wants to depart immediately because they don't want to wait. But here's the thing, when you've got a group of 3, that actually makes getting a 4th person much, much easier. Because people are going to be faster on the draw, so to speak. So this guy would very much like to depart now. I can see it in the way he's moving his character, and I assume that to be the case based on the community. But 9 times out of 10, if you just wait for an extra 30 seconds, you will get your 4th person, because the room automatically becomes more attractive when you've got 3. But I'm happy to ready up in the next, say, 15 seconds if no one comes. But if that does happen, you're almost guaranteed to enter the quest and then someone will have joined, who... Yeah, there you go. But yeah, someone... If I had departed, like, right then, instead of doing a monologue, Turok wouldn't have had anyone to play with. So it's not just about... You know, it's twofold. In the first instance, the quest will be faster and easier for us with 4 people, and then the second point is that this guy now has a room to join. It's a win-win situation. Yeah, so, this is definitely a raw power sort of gun lance. It only has negative 10% affinity, and once we're in the quest, we'll see what Bludgeoner gives it in terms of a damage value. Ends of the Earth. We've gone 401. It's not incredible, but it's pretty good. Enough to compensate for the lack of sharpness multiplier, I hope. And I think we're shot level 5, aren't we? I hope so. I feel like when you've got raw damage, it just makes sense for you to have a stronger shot as well. But I think, in the interest of balance, Capcom will usually give raw gun lancers shot level 5. Just makes sense, doesn't it? Bit hard for me to get a full combo out here. I got started a little earlier just to make sure that I got my heavy shot out. My heavy shot is really important not just for damage, but also for getting my gun lance heat up. Oh my god. I didn't anticipate your big heavy arm slam. Oh fuck. It just came out rather suddenly, didn't it? It looked as if he was baiting me into it. Put himself in a very specific spot that looked like it was a chance for me to hit him, and then he just goes on his hind legs and then slams down on me. While I'm stuck in an animation. We'll use Blast Dash, but not now, obviously. And not now. I could be shelling a little bit more to get my heat up. But we'll see if I'm in the mood to do so in time to come. I'm not at the moment for some reason. Of course, I become a little bit less tolerant of being flinched by my teammates when I'm already struggling to get a full combo out as it is. Interestingly, I think the heavy shot actually pushed me into that. But that's alright. We're almost in the red. Which weirdly is where you want to be. Logically in my head, the hotter your gun, the less it's going to perform, right? I'm not a ballistics expert, but I'm pretty sure the heat of your gun is not a good thing. So why it's treated as a damage up, I don't know. Alright, we're in the red now, which means it's Wyvern fire time. I have to keep my shield raised for this crap. Sorry, Helix. But it was for the greater good. Your flinch. Well, you can't even really call that a flinch, more like a launch. Alright, we've got Dragon Blast, and I'm saving Blast Dash for an occasion where I really need it. I'm glad that Soldivar, I believe, is using aerial because it looked as if I had completely launched you into space by doing Dragon Blast, but it doesn't have a launching capability. An aerial launching capability, anyway. Definitely has a knockback. I hope that shot got on target. Oh. Not sure what that tremor was. That came out well after the attack that I was able to perceive with my eyes. Something else must have happened. One thing that I'm not sure that I like is that they, instead of having the visual indicator of like how many shots you've got on your heads-up display, it's now just a number. I think that's a little boring. I see why they went with that. It's because they didn't want to have too much clutter on the screen because you've already got the heat gauge. But yeah, I don't like having a number. A number is a little boring. A little less interactive. It's no less informative, but again, just a weird little thing that I prefer about previous games. Oh, there you go, got interrupted at a crucial moment. But it doesn't matter, the monster is dead. Bit of a better team than last time, I say cautiously. Yeah, that's a good point. AJ says that it's a bit of a missed opportunity to have the final levels of the heat gauge white and blue, like the hottest flames. But I suppose you can see why they went with more of a traffic light look there. I shouldn't say traffic light, there's no green involved. But yeah. Yellow into orange into red is also perfectly acceptable. But yeah, I think that would have been cool. The hunts have not been very good so far at all, Peaberry. We've done 3, and only 1 out of the 3 has been successful. We did some Rust Razor Cyanator and failed both quests. Possibly because of the performance of one particular person, but I'm not going to be laying it on thick. I think the person has been called out enough already, so I will abstain from making further remarks on the subject. I think I took that instead of sending it to my box. Very old-fashioned, it must be said. Very old-fashioned. to not send directly to the box. Let me deal with that now. Okay. Now, something that I just remembered, only just now, is that I haven't had any barrel... Oh, this is why. I don't actually have Barrel Bomb L+. What's going on? I wonder if this team will allow me just a brief moment, and it would be brief, for me to actually get some more Barrel Bomb L+. Scatterfish, right? I've got plenty. Let's combine the whole stack. Oh, combining is so quick in this game. Look at that. My god. Just hold down that button and it's done. Well, not quite. It's like double the speed of it, of the previous games. You want to do this again. I understand why, it's because the room is actually meant to be for that, but you see, I'm not in the business of doing the same quest repeatedly when I'm recording for this series. Recruiting for Thunderlord 6. That is a high rank quest, I'm not interested. Snow Baron 7. Okay. I can't remember the last time I fought a Snow Baron, so let's do it. It's going to be high rank, as I said, or as I suggested, but... I can't remember the last rank of high rank deviants. Is it 9 or is it 10? It's probably 10, isn't it? So... yeah. Fine. I'll try to bring something that's not too strong. How about my Link loadout? Definitely need our Link loadout. Full G rank team to completely eviscerate and expunge from the world a Snow Baron. What do you want? On-site items only. What a waste of time. What a waste of time. On-site items only. The temptation to just leave the room, man. Oh, what do my item sets look like? Have you noticed I never use item sets? Alright, that's fine. It's workable. What do I should probably make an item set for an empty pouch. Now, I believe on-site items only also includes an empty gunner's pouch, which is fun. Anyway. Now, just to be really clear, it's not that I'm concerned about any challenge being experienced by not having my own items, it's just that I didn't want to have to empty my box. Or my pouch, rather. Yeah, that's a detail that I hadn't actually noticed. They do, because usually the sword and shield is in the right hand in this game, isn't it? And because it's Link, they swapped it over. I didn't even notice that detail last time we were commenting on what they did with this weapon, in that it's got a back sheath. Is that correct? No, I think it is usually. No, it is usually that. Oh, you can bring gunner's ammunition, apparently. Do you know what? That makes sense. That would be really proscriptive for a gunner to only be able to use what's in the supply box. God. Yeah, so I didn't actually need to empty that, but that's alright. So what have we got? We've got plenty of hot drinks, 10 first aid meds, and rations. That will be enough for me. Particularly given that it's a high rank quest. I don't even know where he starts. Maybe Area 3? I don't think it's Area 2, but it could be. I don't have my Psycho Serums because it's on-site items only. Fuck off. Why am I doing this to myself for a high rank quest? Yeah, shield is always in the right hand. I don't know why I was... it was because P-Berry was like, ooh, left-handed Link, so I thought, oh, is that not normal? But, yeah, Link is actually left-handed. He was only right-handed in Twilight Princess because they presumed that most people playing Twilight Princess on the Wii were themselves going to be right-handed, so it was a little bit disappointing for them to break with tradition. And hilariously, just, again, on the subject of Zelda, the way that they fixed that, or rather the way that they made it so that Link was actually right-handed, was they just flipped the whole fucking game. They made the game a mirror image of the GameCube version, so that Link would be right-handed. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious that that's how they did it. But, yeah. Again, never played the Wii version of that game. If I did play the Wii version, I would feel so confused. So confused. Everything would be backwards, and I'm so glad that the remastered version on the Wii U was the way the GameCube version was. The correct fucking way. Not the weird flipped version. Anyway. So Snow Baron, as you can see, larger, he's got more fur, and... oh, where did you go? He doesn't actually look that different, does he? For a deviant. I'm not asking for him to have crazy colours, but maybe a slightly different design. Something a little more substantial than what I've just described would be nice. He's bigger and badder. And that's about it. The experience of fighting him is definitely different. I'm swinging my sword inanely at the monster, unable to actually hit it. Which is cause for some considerable embarrassment, but we're moving on. I look into your eyes, Logombi. They are red. Staring into my soul. Your ears are broken, which is pretty brutal if you think about it. Imagine a rabbit and just having its ears severed. Ooh. Poor thing. I'm guessing that's a limp, is it? No, it's a raw. I've obviously found the sweet spot to evade those snowballs. Feels weird to call them snowballs though, doesn't it? More like ice balls. They look much too solid to be called snowballs. Not that I am in any way an authority. Oh, is this a capture quest? It is an on-site items only capture quest. This is pathetic. Oh my god. On-site items only capture quest. I hadn't even clocked that. I was spending so much time complaining about the on-site items only aspect of the quest that I hadn't even noticed that it was also capture. That has to be the worst combination ever. The reason why that's so novel to me, just to clarify, is because I don't really bother with the Deviant quests. You can probably tell because I've only got the mini gold crown and I'm hunt rank 999. I really don't care for them. The monsters themselves are cool, but I don't like the quest system. And I was completely against the high rank Deviants. Not just in Generations, but particularly in this game where you end up having to fight 15 levels of the same monster. 15! To get to the final one. Unbelievable. Like, why would I want to do that to myself? Then you get to listen to that same terrible theme song. Last time I said that, I had a few people exclaim angrily that they actually really like the Deviant theme song, so yeah, I realised that maybe that's just an opinion and nothing more, but yeah. Okay, well that's your... What have you put on the board? Have you put something random on the board? You have. This is a Snow Baron Logombi room. And Audrey has joined up on it immediately. Well, okay. Now you've realised that it's not actually Snow Baron. But yeah, so unfamiliar is the idea of having a room for a specific monster for someone like Destiny that he just, without hesitation, puts his own quest up on the board. It wouldn't even occur to him that it's not a turns room. That's really what I'm trying to say. Turns rooms have now become so ubiquitous across all of the Monster Hunter games and across all of the rooms that people just assume that that's how you play online. It's really not. You go based on the room information. What would the purpose be of writing turns if the alternative were also turns? Every room is not a turns room. This is the thing. I feel that people just have become so confused about that. I could also be completely wrong, and they know that they're doing the wrong thing. They're just trying it on. They're just taking the piss and seeing if people just capitulate to their desires. But whatever. This is Uragan G1 to EX, so I don't know what stage they are at, but this is Crystal Beard. And EX Crystal Beard is actually quite a challenge, if I remember. Apex versus Deviants? Definitely Deviants. These guys are so lazy. I refuse to believe that these people waited for more than 2 minutes to get me in this room. I absolutely categorically refuse to believe it. What have they got? Oh, I see why they've done it. It's only G1. They've only just started, so yeah. 2-manning that is perfectly easy to do. Turns with Platinum. So Apex, yeah, the question has been clarified as design and system-wise, which is good because they both have a shit system. So obviously connected to the Apex monsters of 4 Ultimate is the Y-Stone system, which I find to be truly terrible. I consider it to be ridiculous, and it just doesn't, it's not a pleasant way to fight monsters. But at least it's just the monster, like that's it. With the exception, of course, of guild quests, which I don't like either, just to be very clear. When you find an Apex monster, that is it, that is the monster. In the case of Deviants, it's basically an urgent quest system that just goes on and on and on for the same monster, and I find that to be pant-wettingly monotonous and stupid. I just don't like it at all. Someone might challenge me to say, well, what's the alternative? Anything. There's so many ways to make quests in Monster Hunter. Why do you have to do it that way? I just didn't find it to be very impressive. But I've heard along the grapevine that there's a certain thing in Monster Hunter World called the, what's it called again? The something lands? Anyway, I stopped playing World by the time it came out. The Guiding Lands? I think that's what it's called, the Guiding Lands. That's basically the same idea, but from what I've heard, it's even worse. So Capcom seems to have a real hard-on for the idea of fighting the same monster over and over and over again to make it stronger. So, glad I didn't have to subject myself to that. I had better get my set organised quickly. This whole team is waiting for me, and we know how people get when they have to wait for so much as a second for a single person. That person gets just thrown under the bus completely by the team. I'm bringing a longsword, because why not? What's the monster again? I can't remember. Shit. I'll bring something raw. Whatever that's going to be. Darkness Within, there you go, Darkness Within. Very similar in appearance to the longsword that I just had. I'm shocked that they waited for me. But for those of you who consider it peculiar that I can sit at the quest board staring at the quest for, you know, upwards of 30 seconds and still not internalize what it is that I'm reading, or looking at in terms of the symbols of the monster, that's just what happens when you're doing a commentary whilst playing the game at the same time. It's just what happens. Yeah, so the Guiding Lands, as it's been described to me by Peaberry, doesn't, on the face of it, sound as obnoxious as Deviant Monsters and their quest system. But, yeah, I still haven't answered that question as to which one I prefer. I don't know. It's a bit like comparing piss and shit as to which one I would rather ingest. Neither would be the answer. But if we focus purely on the monsters themselves, definitely the Deviants. Definitely the Deviants. Because obviously they are themselves subspecies. And they're really cool subspecies, for the most part. Wonderlord would take Pierce. Well, this is true, but then... Yeah, okay, so maybe... Let's forget that I said Pierce. Let's say shit and vomit. Just to be maximally disgusting. And just to be clear, I was prompted in this direction by Wonderlord by saying that he would take Pierce willingly. So, you know, shit and vomit. And not your vomit, just to be really clear, someone else's. So, the answer is neither, okay? So, oh god. I'm about to leave the area accidentally. Just to be clear, I can tolerate the G-rank deviants, because it's only 5. G1 to G5 and then the EX, so technically 6 if you include the EX. But, and this is a big but, to do that after having already leveled the monster up to level 10, in the case of the regular Generations deviants, I can summarize my impressions of that with one word. No. Not interested. So, I have yet to do that. I've yet to take a Generations deviant all the way to EX. And I don't suspect that I'll ever do it at this stage. Because I'm not a completionist in Monster Hunter. I don't try to complete a guild card, and when I play this game, I play it to have fun, and I don't find that fun at all. So... The blue plume is silly on my armor set, apparently. I'm sure that I could change the color of that, Peaberry, but the first mistake that you've made is trying to compliment me on my fashion in a Monster Hunter game. Even in this game, really, where fashion is king, I go for function over form in almost every case. I do a little bit of transmog, but not much. I'm not opposed to transmog in any way. I just haven't found the time to actually do it for myself. I've got maybe 2 transmogrified armor sets, maybe 3 even, but there's only 2 that I can think of off the top of my head, and I don't know, the amount of time that it takes to actually get a transmog loadout organized, not in terms of getting the armor pieces together in concept, but just actually going and getting them, forging them, just for the appearance of it. It's more work than is worth it for me, personally. Really should be using Unhinged Spirit now that I'm in the yellow, so I will do that once we've knocked down this Diablos. Straight back into a Spirit combo. Monster Hunter Tri-style. Not that I would be able to Sonic Bomb at this moment, but I'm sure one day I'll actually bring Sonic Bombs to a Diablos hunt. One day. It's bound to happen at some point. Do you know why I don't bring these things? It's because I've become really lazy with quest preparation. I used to be really good with it in 3rd gen and 2nd gen, but now I've just become awfully lazy. Oh, we've got the other Diablos in the room. Let's try to keep only this one paintballed so that we're very clear on which one we've been aiming for. Now it is clear. Because we hadn't broken any of the horns, it wasn't clear which one was the weak one. But now, one of them's missing a tail, which is a pretty clear identifier. Oh my god. I guess that was very predictable, wasn't it? Le Chat Fleur is, without hesitation, aiming for the one with full health. So where does that leave those of us who want to actually go and kill the weak one? So you're just going to stay here and solo this one? We'll go for it, mate. And he's dead. That's what you get for being a hero. Oh, so many words that I have in my lexicon that I could use to describe that moment, but in the interest of not being an absolute prick, I will, as I say, keep stum. I will keep stum. Don't be a hero, mate. Go for the weak monster. I think I've very much gone the long way. Ugh. I feel bad. Platinum's following me because I should know where I'm going, but I'm not. Oh. In the end, that didn't wind up being too bad. Didn't wind up being too bad. Nice work, AJ. Yeah, I do need to work on getting the Fatalis set and Monster. What the fuck? Why did I think you were here? Again, please don't follow me. I've never been so confused in this map in all my life, I must tell you. I've never moved with so little method. And with such a demonstrably lacking knowledge of the area. It's just shocking to think about. Sleepy. Le Chat Fleur is back at it again. Soloing the monster. Capture? May as well. At this point. Suppose we all didn't have to be here for a capture, did we? Actually tempting to use a Farcaster here. Should I do it? Yeah. I often don't bother, but... let's back up Mr. Le Chat Fleur. I'm seeing some Bloodwind there. Oh, do you think I can keep in my yellow charge? I might not be able to make it. Because obviously to keep it I would have to complete an entire spirit combo. I don't think I can maintain it. It's about to go. And this Diablos is going a lot. He won't stop going. I'll just sit back and wait for you. I'll wait for you to actually stay still for a brief moment. Just in time for me to lose my yellow, though. But that's alright. No, there has never been a multi-monster capture quest. Whoa. Probably for logistical reasons. Like, how many tranks and traps are you going to put in a box? I don't think it would be a bad idea to try a double capture quest, but in my opinion, capture quests should be put in the bin as an idea completely. Rather than trying to have an even more involved capture quest. I just really don't like capture quests, okay? I guess conceptually they're fine. It forces the team to play a little differently. What I don't like about capture quests, and I think I explained this in a previous Generations Ultimate livestream that I did recently, I think that if they made it so that you could at least get wound rewards, I would feel better about capture quests. It's the fact that it is complete failure that you experience when you kill a capture quest monster that makes me completely sour to the idea of it. I can't even describe how disappointing it is when you've just spent, I don't know, let's say for example 10 minutes in a quest. You've killed the monster successfully, but then because it's a capture quest you get absolutely nothing. You failed. So, yeah. Obviously it incentivizes team coordination, but I think it would incentivize the team to coordinate even if you at least gave us the damn wound rewards. Do you know what I mean? Just in concept, I think it would make more sense. And I would be more amenable to the idea of capture quests if that were how they worked. AJ was playing DOS and he failed a quest by capturing the monster. That's unfortunate. Of course, it's understandable. Well, no, it's not understandable. I think it was Freedom 1 where you could bring your own tranks, wasn't it? So what are they talking about? I was thinking that would be a sort of teething issue in terms of game design for when tranks went from being a supply item to being something that you could forge for yourself. But no, that was not a DOS thing, I don't think. Yeah, well, what we need is Monster Hunter Un. Maybe even Monster Hunter Uno. That's what we need. Monster Hunter 1 themed Uno cards. Why hasn't it been done yet? I demand to have an answer. Got a large wyvern gem. Very easy to get in this game. Very easy to get. At least in my experience. I just think back to... I don't know why I've been mentioning Try so much in this recording, but back in Try, getting a wyvern gem, my god. Not easy. If you got one, it was an achievement. But then after Try, it was very easy. Beginning with Portable Third, I suppose. Just for you, Peaberry, I will change the colour of my cyan plume to something a little more appropriate. I wouldn't want to look unattractive in any way with an armor set in a Monster Hunter game. That would be very much out of character. Peaberry expressing genuine gratitude in the chat. Alright, not style and arts. We want change appearance. God, when was the last time I did this? Armor pigment. Head. I think this must be the default. That's definitely the default. I think it works fine with the Rathalos armor set, but obviously it gels very poorly with this armor set. What are we going to do? Maybe a sort of dark, like that? That looks good. Yeah, that's what we want, because that matches the Assyrian, don't you think? That's what we want. Looks like it was meant to be. Alright, what's on the board? The end is nigh. Is that the event Crimson Fatalis? I swear to God if it is. Let's find out. There should be something to indicate if a quest is an event quest when you're actually joining it. Why don't they do that? Why has that never been considered? I find that unbelievable. Okay, so it's... wait, no. So it's to slay a legend, which apparently I've never done. They've actually got completion ticks for event quests in this game. Historically, that wasn't the case. But yeah, it's to slay a legend, so this is not the event version, thank God. But yeah, you don't even necessarily need to clutter the screen with anything. Just have a little marker, like a little blue marker, I don't know, just to say it's an event quest. You're able to figure it out in, say, Freedom Unite, because it would actually take ages to join the quest. But there's no indicator in the games after Freedom Unite. You just had to memorize the event quest names, and then you would be able to see. Or perhaps you would memorize the regular quest names, and then when you saw that it was the same monster, but with a different quest name, then you would, by process of elimination, realize that it was actually the event quest, but I don't know. These are the sort of things that should be streamlined. Not the fucking armor skill system, hello? But I needn't be drawn into that subject of discussion. Let's just do dragon damage. Rather than water. I don't know how good water actually is. I think dragon is the safer option, if I'm not actually going to check. Interesting theory from AJ on why they called a monster under DOS, but I think that might be a coincidence. Because obviously you've got, like instead of Bulldrome, it would be DOS Fangor, for example. So Drome was referred to as DOS, so the theory that AJ puts forward is that relative to Monster Hunter 1, DOS is like the Drome of Monster Hunter, which is, I don't know. Could be, but I'd probably need to hear something official. In order to be convinced of that. Now, the correct thing to do is to not take the max potion, but people will always take the max potions because they think, ooh, health! But what they should be doing is leaving the max potions, and then anyone who dies gets a free max health when they come back. But no, it's never done that way. Never done that way. So really, we should just all take the max potions, because no one's ever going to do it that way, right? That's the logic. Sadly, it is the logic. If I don't take it, someone else will. Oh, I couldn't even see you in there. He was blending in so well, I was expecting him to be a little more in the center, not standing off to the very edge. Well, those guys were completely unperturbed by... They're doing something right, I'm not. I've got some sort of anti-falling meteor ability. I hate this monster. It's those meteors that I've always hated. Annoyingly, he is historically... It's so interesting. So, among the Fatalis monsters of first and second generation, the most annoying ones, really, were black and that's just about going to kill me. Shockingly, it didn't. I don't know why I'm performing so poorly. But back to what I was saying. The annoying Fatalis monsters were black and white, the reason being that they were constantly out of reach for Blade Master users. But, to compensate for the fact that Crimson is always on the ground, he's always dropping these meteors, which makes him very annoying as well. So, the moral of the story is that they're all annoying. Why do you have to be on that little platform? Oh, Destiny's dead. I didn't actually mean to swing my axe, though. I get it on target, please. Thank you. I'll have Ripper Shield soon. Which, well, I have it now, but I will do it soon. I will use it soon. Got a tail coming, which I was completely unable to avoid. I don't think I've ever used a Charge Blade on this monster. Believe it or not, I was still in my drinking animation there. I couldn't actually get a run up and dive through that shit. And the reason why that's shocking to me is because it felt like I had healed an eon before he did that attack. It's all by design. He tries to keep you in one place with the wind pressure and then comes down to hit you. Arsehole. Arsehole monster. Alright, I'll try to find the right moment to use Ripper Shield. Apparently someone tried to flash the Fatalis. I didn't actually notice that. I must be cognitively impaired. I don't know how you wouldn't notice a flash bomb, but I didn't. Shut up. Wouldn't it be funny if you could cut a Fatalis tail? It would look very strange. But it would make sense in that I feel that Fatalis's tail is a big feature of the way that he fights you. It's so long and he whips it around all the time. Case in point. So it makes sense that you'd be able to cut it to make the fight a little easier. Obviously it doesn't really make sense in my mind because you've never been able to cut a Fatalis tail, but in terms of the confrontation, it would make sense. This is really not the time for me to be running out of red shield, really. It's fucking flinching each other. Why on earth? You reckon I can energy blade in time? Not enough of a timing... Well, I can't even phrase that sentence in the way that I wanted to. The timing was not good enough for me to get red shield as well. But that's alright. Still got energy blade out on the head. Which pleases me. It was very satisfying. You think it would be a Basario's tail if you could cut it? Imagine that, that would be the tip of the tip of the tip of the tail at that point, based on how long this one is. Oh no. For a second I thought it was another tail swing. I would have been less than impressed. Oh my god. Meteors, no. No, you fucking don't. I was literally burying my face in your crotch, and I still got hit by that. That's why I went towards you rather than away from you, because I knew that if I went away, I wouldn't be able to evade that. Can you believe that that still hit me? What a fucking asshole of a monster. Unfair is the word that comes to mind. Oh, I could have a free max potion, but no. That's what I get for even mentioning that. I'm the one who ends up needing it. Yeah, I am not a fan of this monster. Never have been. Although I did find the Super Crimson of For Ultimate to be very cool. Just because he had an immense presence. A very cool theme. He was so fiery. Just a magnificent monster. Annoying to fight, but not when everyone was cheesing him with Insect Glaive. That was actually very simple. Yeah, he's got the maximum break on his head, I can see. Assisted in some way by my energy blade, I would imagine. If you go on all fours, I'll be pissed. No, that would be out of character for you, wouldn't it? You just drop meteors everywhere. Did you see that? That didn't look very natural. The way he just went from standing still to just... He basically levitated in that moment, didn't you see? His body levitated off the ground without him flapping his wings, and then he did sort of like a forward dive. I don't know how many times I've seen him do that move, but it was... Yeah, very unnatural. Very unnatural. It makes sense when he just throws himself backwards into a forward dive, but from just standing still, it looked ridiculous. Don't know why I'm getting my charge up when I've got Ripper Shield waiting in the wings. Get in nice and close. Ooh. Yeah, when you take that moment to just allow the axe to finish swinging and then you go into the big overhead, you're actually able to reposition very effectively. So that would be one reason to use it. The reason that immediately comes to mind for me personally is that you don't run the risk of upswinging your team. But that would be another reason. It's to keep yourself on target with the monster when you do that big overhead swing. Don't hit me, please. Give it a rest. Phone it in, mate. Phone it in. Sorry, I'm spending more time adjusting my hair than actually playing the game, and as a consequence of that, I'm losing about half of my health. He's dealing a lot of damage. I've got 869 defense. Which is, you know, endgame defense. I'm losing half of my health, so... All fours! Le chat fleur! Attention! Okay. So I need to go and get my red shield again. Bit dangerous to do it now. That was living dangerously. Can you die now? Seriously. I mean, it would be unusual if he already died. I don't feel like I've been performing well enough to contribute to a fight that had him die this quickly, but... it's my way of saying that I've had enough. I don't like this monster. I'll do Ripper Shield into Energy Blade. Oh, never mind, he is dead. Okay. We must have a few good damage dealers here. I just suck. I'm sure I was doing something in the way of damage, but... I didn't feel that effective. Get down 9 carbs. Made a little easier by the fact that you can just hold down the A button, as of Monster Hunter Generations. I have actually seen some people modding their older Monster Hunter games to make it so that they can just hold down the A button to carve. What was that? Slightly discourteous to the team. Really, I didn't notice that we were that close to failing. Apparently we had insurance, and if we didn't have it, we would have failed that quest. I'm not doing a good job of noticing when people are fainting today. I must be so caught up in the fight that I just don't see the message appear on the screen. Elemental +7, attack +7. If that had slots, that would be pretty good, but it doesn't, so I won't take it. And I'm not expecting to actually make any more armor sets in the game, so I may do. In fact, there was one armor set. It was the Bitter Affinity armor set that I was talking about. I might make that at some point soon, but yeah. Crystal Beard 4. Mon Dieu. Well, that's my cue to get the hell out of here. It's not that I don't want to help him, I would like to be able to help him. I saw him post that quest in a different room, or at least... Is it even his turn? Who posted that quest? I think Destiny is just begging. Platinum's doing the classic, make a turns room, post your quest, then leave. And look, I don't want to do your quest, Destiny. It wouldn't even be your turn. I'm quite sure that was Platinum who posted that. So again, he's just trying it on. He's really desperate to do his quest. But at no point did it occur to him that he might actually just be able to make a room and sit in the room and wait for 5 to 10 minutes and actually get a group together. I do encourage people to try. You're not playing a game where there's only like 30 people playing. I don't know precisely how many people are playing this game at the moment, but it's somewhere in the region of 60. I'd say it's about 50 to 60 people playing. You will get people. If you sit in that room, people will join. You may even get a high-ranked person. There's plenty of higher-ranked people who are looking for something to do in this game. And yet, I see this person running around in these turns rooms, desperately posting high-rank deviant quests. Just stop it, man. Make a room. But I suppose he just doesn't know. He doesn't know that it would work that way. But in my opinion, when you're not successful, you should just try a different tack. And I reckon that is another failed attempt at getting his quest on the board, after having witnessed the previous fail. Yeah, okay. G turns, I don't know why it has a hyphen in it, but it's also got a happy face. Well, I'm not really... I don't really accept the feint that I sustained in the previous quest, P-Berry. I think that was... that's the sort of thing where I would go to the local courts and find it out, and get it dismissed by a judge. Because I reckon there's enough wiggle room to say that I didn't really feint there. That was unfair. Not acceptable. AJ says, I think he would have had more success if he said go in the chat. Oh, definitely. That makes a huge difference to everyone else in their experience. Glory, glory, Elatrion. Back to the Ingle Isle, everyone. At least we succeeded in the last quest. Oh, if you're wondering why I'm gagging at Elatrion, not a big fan of him in this game, mainly because of how he was in previous games. I wouldn't have an issue with him if this were the only game that I'd fought him in, but he's just so noticeably worse here that it's hard to get enthusiastic in fighting him. Don't I have a general use rapid? I do, surely. I do. I know I do. Where is it? Rapid element. Here we go. I'll bring this for fun. Although I don't think this shoots dragon. Not that I really need it to, but... no. It shoots everything but dragon, but that's fine. Alright, let's organize our ammunition pouch, because it's not looking very good. Oh yes, this is one of my transmog loadouts, by the way. Like, this was my first and largely only transmog set, in the sense that I mixed and matched a few different armor pieces. So it's a mixture of Damascus and whatever that other shit is. It's Lodestar. So a mixture of Lodestar, Damascus, and Gore Magala apparently for the legs. But yeah, there you have it. Pretty much my only transmog set. Back when I liked the color purple, I'm a little less attracted to the color of purple now. It's really interesting how that happens. For most of your life, you really like the color purple, and then suddenly, not so much a fan. I don't know why that is, but... so yeah, basically all elements are good against Elatrion except for Thunder. So if you've got Thunder, put it away. Put it away. Don't even think about it. Do I bring combination materials? I don't really have the space, do I? Let's not. Let's just settle for our Pierce and our Normal when we run out of element. The thing is, this will actually rapid fire all of our elemental shots, which really elongates the duration of shooting the elements. Makes it more economical. That's the word I'll use. The economy of rapid firing. That's why I use it, to be honest. Because what it means is that you can basically just have the same shot and then stretch it out for the whole quest. Same ammunition, I mean. Do I have anything? No. Nothing that I can use to buff the team. Oh well. What are we starting with? So he'll be on the ground, so we start with freeze. I really should have just loaded while jumping off. No, so how it works is when he's on the ground, primary weakness is freeze. When he's in the air, primary weakness is dragon. So thunder is the only thing that he's really not weak to in any phase. Secondary when on the ground is water. Secondary when in the air is fire. So the annoying thing is that this monster is constantly going in the fucking air, so really it would be good if I could shoot dragon shots. He has a very fiery oh my god, you are skipping animations, my friend. I can't very well react to what you're doing when the telegraphing of your attack is actually skipped through by the connectivity issues. Not helpful at all. What's my defense? 520. That's perfectly fine. I must have shit elemental resistance. No, I've got 520 defense, perfectly reasonable for a gunner loadout, and 10 fire resistance, one shot. Very good. Is this the fucking event quest? I bet it's the event quest. I think it is, isn't it? I only hesitate in saying that because every time I say, is this the event quest? It's not. But that was a little over the top. I've only just begun the fight and I'm already back at camp. Don't think there's any real benefit to me getting on this platform. It's actually more dangerous for me. Oh yeah, full house. I might actually get some use out of that. Not really, though. Let's just use it for the sake of it. So basically it'll load all of these other shots. I won't actually have to go and reload them when I switch to a different ammunition type. That's all it really does. Or at least that's all Full House 2 does. Maybe 3 is a little better. And now switching to Flaming. already doing this. And I don't think this is an indication of how much damage we're doing to him. I think he's just doing it because he doesn't go through the motions in the same way in this game. He just immediately does things when you don't expect him to, based on having fought him in previous games. Oh, a lot of that just sailed over his neck. That's my favourite. When I get affected by the roar and a geyser appears underneath me. I'm not having a good time of it, am I? That's what I get for coming into the quest with such a negative point of view. Well, the solution, Latreon, is to be less shit in this game, hey? Don't you think? Oh, I thought he was going back down. Never mind. Wouldn't have been water that I wanted anyway. I was just within the hitbox of the horns when he was doing the twist there. I've decided to officially call it the twist, alright. Got some use out of full house there, didn't have to load my ammunition here. There's one horn. Really liking the criticals there. Although, no, I do have elemental crit, silly me. It would be unusual if I didn't. I would have been very disappointed in myself. That was very funny timing for that. Alright, both horns broken. Very easy to do in this game, it seems. I think it's because he just has less health in this game compared to the other games. So obviously, to break a part of a monster, it's always going to be a percentage of total health. So if you've got a monster with more health, you are, consequently, going to take longer to break parts. Oh, Rathalos has cleansers, apparently. It's always good to name yourself after a monster. I won't comment any further on it than that. But why... I will comment further on it. Why the most obvious one? Why the most obvious one? You could choose any monster and you chose Rathalos? Why? Alright. No more to say. I'm done now. I don't know if the chest is really a good hit zone. I don't think it's particularly good. But I don't remember the elemental hit zones as well as I should. Back in the air. Yeah, Full House is really doing quite well here. Absolutely worthwhile for this particular loadout that I'm using. The thing with Full House too is that it's only going to work with certain shot types, so it's not going to work with, I think, level 3 ammunition. But all of this elemental stuff, it's working very well. It's making me more productive. Oh, flash bomb attempt. Bit off target there. Oh, there's the classic. There you go. Instead of evading, I'm climbing. So, fuck me, I guess. Ugh. The number one complaint about the introduction of verticality in Monster Hunter, in the sense that you're, climbing ledges and jumping off ledges when you're actually intending to evade something. And not even evade in the sense of getting iframes. I mean, like, just fucking moving in one direction away from something. Ugh. I've had some really unfortunate deaths this time. I'm the first to admit that, look, I'm perfectly fallible. just as capable as dying as anyone else is in Monster Hunter, but my god. Today's deaths have been really shitty. They don't feel fair, I'm sorry. They do not feel fair. And I do hope that you agree. There you go. Good flash bomb there. I can't believe I've contributed 2 deaths to this fucking quest. Negative contribution, really. Skipping through animations again. I don't know what level of health you have, so I'm not going to shoot you when you're not carvable. That would be a terrible idea. It's a dangerous time to flash bomb. But I guess you were out of the way. It was, however, unsuccessful. Yeah, I've got no idea what flash bombing in Elatrion is like in this game. I'm assuming it's not as easy as Try and Portable Third, but it should be easier than it was in 3 Ultimate. Shut up. There goes Rathalos. The player, not the monster. Believe it or not. Now, why does my full house not work for this? I don't know. But yeah, you can probably see how well my ammunition is lasting here, courtesy of rapid fire. Got a flinch there on the head. Rathalos, the player Rathalos has a shout, an auto shout, I presume, which is, "My anger is hellfire." Oh yes. Oh yes. I wonder what that's an auto shout for. Hunter Art 2, "My anger is hellfire." Good flash bomb. I've never liked that angled charge attack. Oh, sorry, we're in flying mode now. I need to get with the program. I think I lost my opportunity to hit the head with some of that opportunity I'm normally given. Did I think I just repeated myself there. Anyway. Usually when he finishes that attack he will roar, and it's a good head opportunity, but I was denied it. Fireball. Bit off target though. And back in the air. Now you see him, now you don't. Excellently timed. Very well done. But yeah, you can see my my consumption of freeze and flaming is about the same. Probably because I was shooting freeze when I should have been shooting flaming, but yeah, normally, because he's in the air much more, I would have a lot more flaming consumed. That wasn't too bad. I definitely was the weak link here, literally. But that's... I'm not going to take complete ownership of those deaths. It just doesn't feel quite right. Best of luck, I accidentally said. But yeah, always happy to take ownership of my deaths when they are actually legitimate. The first one was like an animation skip, and the second one... What was the second one again? Oh yeah, I was stuck climbing that bullshit. I guess technically the second one is a bit more fair game than the second. The second one is more fair game than the first, because the first happened as a result of connectivity issues. I'm not happy with either of them, though. The wings really do never get broken, do they? And I suppose I was in a good position to break them, but what causes me to hesitate is the fact that the wings are really not a weak zone. So if I spend time as the gunner aiming for the wings, got a sky swear, it feels like I'm not really contributing to the overall damage being dealt to the monster, so... Okay. It's apparently player 4's turn. Valmar. I'll be doing one more hunt, and that'll be it for this livestream. I do like the design of that switch axe. Sorry, I'm shaking my head because it's such a... There is such a generic damage dealing armor set in terms of skills in this game, and this is it. With the exception of Razor Sharp, I guess, but all these other ones are just... Although, I generally... No, this is not generic, and the reason why is because... No, it is. Yeah, you would want that in conjunction with Critical Boost. Anyway. I think I have a similar armor set for general use. Longsword and Switch Axe, but... Yeah. I just really dislike it when the balance of the game encourages people to all have roughly the same armor skills. Oh, apparently that was a high rank quest. Manual says, this is a G rank room, please no high rank. There you go. What's it going to be, Valmar? These are all the same skills that other guy had, except no critical boost. Case in point. Same skills. What's mine? Mine must differ in some way, surely. Yes. That differs greatly, actually. Do I have one that's like that? I don't think I do. And I think that's the reason why I don't want the obvious shit. Like, this is so much nicer. I find that to be much nicer. Get your critical eye for your elemental crit, not for your crit boost. Yeah, it turns out I don't have the generic maximum damage loadout. I must have critical boost on some of my armor sets. I seem to remember, yeah, so I've got it on the greatsword set, which I find pretty appropriate. I've got it on that one. Critical boost is working in conjunction with repeat offender there, if you're wondering. But yeah. Critical boost is the main problem. It's just so damn strong. Probably shouldn't have been introduced. This guy is... How do you go from posting HR8 Savage Devil Joe to posting HR4 Drill Tusk after being told not to post a high rank quest. He obviously understood immediately that what he posted was not appropriate, so then he posts an even weaker quest. I don't understand it. Anyway. What should I do for the final quest? I really don't care. Path of the Hunter. Whoa, whoa, wee. Whoa, whoa, wee, whoa. There's a reason why I haven't done this quest. It's not that it's difficult. I just find it really, really boring to do this many monsters that are hyper in the arena. It's just miserable. Great. How about deliver 20 pieces of coal? How do we all feel about that? 20 ear prey, 20 beautiful shells, 6 golden fish. I'm just going through the quests that I haven't done, and I can see precisely why I haven't done them. My god. How about an event quest that I haven't done? Sounds like a better idea. Frozen free-for-all? We'll do that. Or will we? How about it'll come out in the wash? Let's do it'll come out in the wash. Yeah, Manuel saying, don't know why he posted high rank still. I don't have an answer for that either. Let me organize myself. It'll be raw. I'll bring this. This is fine. I just need to bring something because these guys are going to start posting any moment. Any moment. So, event. It'll come out in the wash. This time around, I'm using the Toyohisa sword. First time I've brought this out in a little while. It's a really nice, great sword. Very much in the style of first generation Monster Hunter. So in other words, a longsword weapon design, but as a greatsword. Tatsu-chan did not like that quest at all. That was oh my god. Mate, is this a mistake? Did you forget to save your game and then booted, thinking that you had a fully set up armor set? I'm going to assume that that's what happened. That's usually the only way that could possibly happen. Someone's, you know, the last time they played, completely organized their decorations, and then quit after forgetting to save. You know, there's simply no other explanation, surely. No other explanation. Nautus is a funny name. Can we all agree that's a funny name? Nautus. But yeah, see how many Hunter Rank 999 people there are here? If you want to do a quest, like a specific quest, just make your own room for it. Just do it. People will join you. Oh. I don't know if we're more back than ever, Tal, but we're definitely... Well, you're back. Maybe you're speaking for yourself when you say we. Are you using the royal we? Are you some kind of aristocrat? Is that what's going on? I need to get some max potions. Because I have performed very poorly in the last quest. Not sure what Nautus is doing. Taking his time is what he's doing, which I don't take issue with. It's just you don't get very far with slow quest preparation in this game, and I ought to know. Nautus. It's a good sound. It is reliant on a weapon slot, but that's okay. I just personally don't like Blade Master loadouts that are reliant on weapon slots. But I suppose you could argue that it's not that the set is reliant on it. So if he... No, it is reliant, because he was using a charge blade with Artillery Novice. And to get Artillery Novice, he was using his weapon slot. So what I would say is that if you're going to be reliant on a weapon slot for a Blademaster armor set, unless, of course, the set has literally been made for one specific weapon, you have a skill that is not actually crucial to the loadout that requires the weapon slot. I should clarify, though, that you shouldn't take that as advice. That's just how I play the game. Other people play pretty differently. In other words, I like to make an armor set that is useful with as many weapons as possible, particularly if it's Blademaster. But I do also occasionally make sets just for one specific weapon. Like the Link set, for example. I was just casually sitting here reading, or not even reading, more like skimming through the client message, and then I just see farting in all capital letters. Let me buff y'all, Nautus says in an extremely American way. What? Oh, you did already buff us. I didn't even notice that. It would actually be better to, instead of taking the time to send the message, to just go and shoot. Because he did it so quickly that, quite frankly, the message was a distraction. I was like, wait, what? Okay. And then I just sort of stood there waiting, but he had already done it. So, you know, I guess my point is that if he's going to do it that quickly, it would actually be more productive for him to not take the time to send the message. And just do it. Oh my god. Settling for a level 2 charge. Don't be greedy with a greatsword. Can I turn that into like 3 Gs? Greedy with a greatsword. Has to be like a word that relates to restraint that starts with G. Come on. Can I think of one? Oh, that is an excellent use of the fence switch. Very, very nicely done. Manuel is pierced. he's reacted with not one, but 2 ellipses. Well, fortunately, one of them has a Farcaster. Oh my god. The best thing that I can think of, by the way, for the 3 Gs is give up on Greatsword Greed. But that's, yeah. Manual, yeah. It looked like he was trying to get me to hit him there. That was not going to happen. Oh, pink monkey moment. Always good to see a Congalala body slamming a barrel. Alright, I can't wait for the next attempt at fence switching. Or we could just say fence raising if we want to be acceptable. Yes, it is a greatsword. Always feels weird to be helping by doing what I'm doing right now, but there you go. It's not for ultimate. I do have Moonbreaker, I should really use it. Ugh, very satisfying. Moonbreaker 3, one of the most satisfying hunter arts in the game. It must be said. Someone's laid a trap on the ground. I'm sure we'll make use of it eventually. I'm seeing a slight reduction in enthusiasm for using the... Oh, fuck off. For using the fence switch. And he's dead. And that trap is definitely not going to get used. Not with the monster all the way over here. I could sense a fart coming, so... I took evasive maneuvers to avoid fart. I would like to use Brimstone Slash. As I said, I use it as an... as a counter-attack. But it can also work as a counter to things like Tremor, and I think possibly Roars as well. Let's give it a try. I'll find the right time. Really? There's nowhere to limp to, my friend. And he's dead. I'll save my Brimstone Slash for monster number 3. Who is... Gypseret. Who is apparently in Monster Hunter Wilds, which I was not expecting. Again, I only get my information about that game from my server. That's cool that he's got that, that new poison attack. I like that a lot. Oh, I wanted to Brimstone Slash that. More than able to. Too busy doing a different attack. Oh, for goodness sake. It's actually better for me to just do my regular attacks rather than wait for Brimstone Slash. Alright, come on. Okay, someone did the fence switch for fun, I suppose. Shall I just go for it? There we go. That's what we want. Beautiful. Alright, I think that tail is going to be getting in the way. No, he doesn't really stretch it or swing it around. He does it for that, but... Alright, Moonbreaker. I hope that hit the head. That's what I was really aiming for. Very good. That was an event quest that I hadn't yet completed, so I got something done. Not too bad. Yeah, now we can't use the shock trap. I almost sent best of luck in the chat again. It's really not what I'm meaning to do. It's because I lower my controller and then when the R2 on my PS4 controller touches my leg, it brings up this, and I'm pressing A to carve, right? So I end up saying, best of luck at the end of the quest. I just do it to confuse people. Oh, love this sword. Well. Oh, very good. I do really like that light bowgun. Oh, how beautiful is that? Very, very cool. I don't know what the hell that is, but I want it. It's like a fox-themed light bowgun. Obviously an event weapon. Just a small comment of wisdom, if you're looking at a talisman that has no slots, for the end game, it needs to have some fucking good skill points, because really, slotted talismans are where you're going to get the most use out of a talisman. That's really what you should be aiming for. Alright, that's it for the live stream. I hope you all enjoyed. I obviously am still just doing this game, and no others, but it seems to be appreciated at least by the algorithm, but likely by people. There's a lot of interest in watching me play Generations Ultimate, and a whole lot less interest in me playing any other Monster Hunter game, which I don't really understand. It makes me wonder if people are more likely to have Generations Ultimate content delivered to them than... Like, are these people who just wouldn't receive a notification for, say, a Monster Hunter Portable 3rd recording that I do? Or do they just not click it? I'm not sure. I've got no idea how it works. All I know is that many, many more people are watching Generations Ultimate on my channel than anything else. Tends to be Freedom Unite and Generations Ultimate. Those are the two games. I like both of those games, but I'm certainly not going to play those and nothing else. So, yeah, it's funny that it's not even that I'm playing different games. Even within the same series, or rather, different game series, even within the same series, I can't seem to draw interest from everyone, but that's alright. I do thank you all for watching, as I said, and I will see you next time I'm recording this game. Probably in the next few days or so. Bye bye for now.